What is up guys, I'm back, and although everyone already has their OnePlus 2 unboxings up here on YouTube, since I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, I had to wait a little more for mine to arrive. And I've had the device for literally less than 1 hour before making this video, so it's my actual first impressions without diving too deep into anything. So I'm guessing you already know what's in the box, so we'll just skip through that really quickly. You have absolutely no idea how much willpower it took for me to actually set up my camera before ripping this box open, but listen to this awesomeness right here. Using the usual text smash magic to get the box open, the device is just lying there begging to be taken out, and the plastic wrapping around it points out some key features of the OnePlus 2, but we already know everything here, so we can just take that off without paying too much attention to it. Below where the device was chilling until we took him out is this paperwork here that we really couldn't care less about, and removing that reveals our accessories, both of which are different to its previous iteration. The new charging cable has a USB-C connector instead of micro USB, and it's a bit longer than the OnePlus One's cable and a lot more flexible, which really makes it a lot easier to handle. The main upside of USB-C right now, if you're wondering, is just being reversible, which means you really don't have to pull out your hair anymore while trying to find the correct direction to plug your device in at night when the light is off, or just in general. You can just plug it in however you want and it goes in both ways. The charging block is a bit bigger, and as you already saw, it now comes in the main box instead of being packaged separately. It still looks extremely elegant though, with that understated design and that simple OnePlus logo at the bottom. Finally, out of the boring stuff and onto the actual device. The absolute first thing that stood out was the build quality. If I were to hand this to a random person, they would easily think it's worth like $600 or $700. Not to mention my really soft spot for chamfered edges, which this totally has and appeals to my weakness. The sandstone back is here again, but a bit darker this time around. The entire device is surrounded by an aluminum band, and the buttons are extremely sturdy, and even the new alert slider has absolutely no wiggle room to it, which is really a nice surprise for a device of this price range. If you don't know what the alert slider does, it basically lets you toggle between Android Lollipop's new modes, which are all priority or no notifications. Oh, and speaking of the alert slider, another new addition to the OnePlus 2 is the fingerprint sensor, which is fast. Crazy fast, just trust me. You can rest your finger on it and it unlocks and turns on immediately, which can come in extremely handy. And if you rest a finger on there that isn't stored, the device will just watch you like if you're dumb and ignore your input attempts. Also, the back cover is removable, which reveals the dual SIM slots, although I really wish one of those SIM slots could have been a micro SD card slot. But there's also multiple style swap back covers you can get to replace the sandstone if that's not your thing, and I'm really digging the black apricot right now. So I turned on the device and got all my main apps and stuff installed, and from my short experience with it, it performs like you would expect a flagship device to perform. Apps load extremely quickly, navigating through the operating system is a breeze, and switching between apps even more of a breeze. However, from the same little experience that I had, I've come to realize that the device just isn't perfect. Firstly, let's talk about the speakers. While you may think these right here are 2 speakers, it's actually just one. The other side is just there for symmetry, and that would have been okay if the one speaker that it had was good, but it just isn't. The sound seems a bit thin to me and just lacks body in general. It just doesn't sound as rich as I would have expected it to, and after using a device with this build quality and just picking it up and seeing these precision speaker holes, you would just expect like really high quality audio to come out of it, but that's not the case. Secondly is the hardware keys. You might have noticed I'm using the on-screen buttons, and yes, that's partly because I'm a purist, but at some times the capacitive home button would just act a little iffy. So I just decided to go with the on-screen buttons until an update comes to sort that problem out, and I really hope it does quickly. As for the display, you wouldn't be able to tell it's not in 2K resolution, as I came from the G4 and I honestly didn't notice any huge difference. However, it's a bit on the warm side, as in it's more on the yellow side rather than blue, so whites seem a bit more yellow than they should, which is just something to keep in mind. By no means a deal breaker or anything, but just take note of that. As for the general experience so far, I'm absolutely loving it. We'll get deeper into the specs and camera and all that stuff in the full review, but for now I'm extremely happy with what I'm seeing. If you want to see the full review and stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it, and leave a comment below telling me if there's anything in specific you want me to cover in the full review. But that's been it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.